Live. I mean,
Almost.
we gotta make sure.
What?
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 Ah,
What? I'm about to click OK to go live.
do it. This is as good as it's gonna get.
Ladies and gentlemen, another week, another Supercast. Welcome to Super Ultimate Podcast Extreme Remix Episode 4 Live Edition here in living color. Or if you put on your black and white filter, we can be completely not in living color. But I am Zach, Ghost Robo, on the attack, avoiding Twitter like it's some sort of bad mouth plaque. And I'm joined by the biggest supporter of pea soup this side of the Mosaic River, Gabe Volatile Gabe.
My screen is so gross. It's really just a very ugly green, and
It's kind of it's mysterious.
here, if we're gonna be honest, Zachary, let's have a little bit of real talk, right? When you asked, hey, at what time should we get started, like setting up, and I said at 5, right?
I thought you meant 5 p.m.
I thought we were doing it at 6 p.m. my time. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. It slipped my mind. In my mind, I said I'm gonna go to sleep. I played Hitman all night. Zach, that's the thing I did. So, in my mind, I had an hour. We were good.
But I drove 12 hours to make it in time for this podcast.
Yeah, and people were complaining.
I
see people in chat saying about the 3 minutes late thing. Guys, we know. We wanted this to look a lot better than it does. I didn't want this green thing behind me, but yeah, it's what we got for now.
Look, the better you are at being late, the better your life is.
Your life must be amazing.
It's really good.
I've never met anybody as good as being late as you.
Okay, so like when I go to the airport, I feel great when I walk into the airport. And, I get stopped in security because I always either have protein powder or a laptop or a console or a microphone, or sometimes I accidentally bring a knife.
Yeah.
And it was an accident. Yeah. And so I get stopped and I hear over the loudspeaker, like, passenger Zach, blah, blah, blah. Please report to the gate. You have 2 minutes. I'm like, right on time, baby. I go up, I get my water. I get my maybe some snacks, probably not though, because they're probably not very healthy. Yeah. And then I like to be the last person on the plane. Because the worst thing is to sit on a stuffy plane with sick people, or coughing people, or crying babies before you have to be.
But then the problem is you might miss the plane.
I've only missed one flight in my life, and that was two. One because I overslept, and one because I didn't really want to make it.
Yeah, but one of those chances, right? Like one of those times where you're the last person on the plane by 2 minutes, you're going to be those 2 minutes late and the plane's leaving without you.
It hasn't happened yet, and I've traveled at least 50 times in the last couple of years.
It'll happen.
Okay, well, what else will happen, Gabe, is that we will talk about The Division. We will talk about Hitman. We will talk about my secret game that's better than both of those.
Probably not.
We'll talk about probably Gabe, when have I let you down with secret games?
Many times.
0 times. Quantum Break, Evolve,
No.
Battleborn,
one of your secret,
Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt.
One of your secret games was
Wrestling.
Also the black box game, where you're like a little box on 3DS.
Box Boy is amazing. Okay. Do you remember our conversations about Box Boy?
I do remember the conversation about Box Boy.
Are you trying to read the chat?
Well, somebody's saying that there's a delay, that there's lag. I don't know what's happening. Audio sync.
We're all good.
Are you sure we're all good?
I mean, maybe the delay I have, I could take off the delay.
No, well, I don't think it's the fact that we're delayed that's the issue. I think there's a delay between me and you.
Oh. All right. Well, we're gonna do some. Since this is live.
Yeah, this is the part that I was very nervous about it being live.
Oh, I understand the issue. I'll fix it right now.
Okay. Do you really understand the issue?
Yes, it's fixed. Bam. They call me the engineer. We're fixed.
The engineer. I can't wait to talk about Hitman. I love Hitman.
Did you kill an engineer?
Sort of. I posed as an engineer, a mechanical engineer for a jet. Did you do that in the beta? Was that in the beta?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, dude, that's so cool.
I went I fooled with the ejector seat.
Okay. All right. So let's get started. The delay should be fixed.
It is fixed.
Yeah. All right. Well, they're saying there's a delay. There's people saying it's a bit lag. Whatever. Let's go.
Tell me about Hitman.
All right. Wait, are we already starting to talk about Hitman?
Okay, fine. We're not going to talk about Hitman. Let's talk more about me being late.
Well, is that what we're getting into? I don't know. You usually run this thing.
We've got games. We've got NX talk. We've got your emails, which will basically be your chat mails this time, which sounds really inappropriate and kind of shady, but that's what we're going to call it. We've got talk about Marvel's latest Civil War trailer, and we've got the big $200 giveaway, as well as 2 game code giveaways, one for The Witness and one for Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition. So I think, actually, let's start the cast off. Let's give one of those away.
Okay.
Which should we give away first?
Let's make people. Let's make people smart. You want to give them The Witness?
Okay, let's give away The Witness right now. So we need to do a live like game show here. So you'll be Regis Philbin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I will be
Kathy Lee.
Yeah, that's probably good. All right. So let's see. We need to do a puzzle of sorts, and then the first person that answers wins the Witness code. And it's for PS4, right?
Yeah, it's a PS4 code.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the puzzle that we have for them today. Here, I'm gonna make this up on the fly. All right.
Here, I was thinking I was just gonna drop it in chat.
No, that's way too easy. Okay. All right, we're gonna play the I am a body of land game. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so pull up your world maps, people. I've got mine up.
Okay, I don't have mine up.
Okay, well that's all right. Good thing I'm here.
Yeah.
And I have a country picked out on this world map.
Okay.
And we are going to give people clues, and the first person to guess this country will get the code. And I'll keep chat up so that I can monitor this. All right.
Okay. You could tell me what country it is in chat. I mean, in
chat. Okay, I'll tell you in
no,
Skype.
No, in chat. You should probably not tell me in chat.
All right. So here we go. All right, Gabe.
All right.
You got it?
I do.
Okay. So I am a body of land.
Wait, that's okay. Whatever. Go ahead.
I live.
No one is gonna guess this. Do you know how old these people
are? It's okay.
They
can pull up a world map. This is a puzzle like The Witness.
Okay.
I live on a continent.
Mm-hmm.
My continent is not where these two boys doing a podcast are from.
Okay.
It also is not the continent where Vladimir Putin is from.
Zachary, I think we should just drop the code.
It also is not the continent where kangaroos are from. It also is not the continent where Donald Trump wants to build a wall. It's also not the continent where the Zika virus was born.
No, people are guessing in chat. None of them have it.
It's also not the continent where Game Riot's from. So we're down to one continent. All right. I am a country on this continent.
Yeah, but then you're narrowing down to countries.
Hold up. I am on the coast.
They're still not going to guess this.
It's okay. I am north of South Africa, but south of Algeria.
Okay.
I am west of Chad.
Zach,
I am.
This isn't gonna happen. Should I just drop the damn code?
Okay, I got a better game. Since you guys don't want to play I Am a Human Country Mass game. My next game goes like this. Everyone's guessing continents.
I know, and that's the problem. You gotta see the age range.
Okay. All right. Okay. So our new game, Gabe. We gotta think of a game that will.
Let's play whoever redeems it first.
No, that's a terrible game. What if people? Yeah, that's like playing fastest finger, but some people might not have fingers.
Yeah, but it'll take copy paste. It'll take way less time, less effort, and we can move on to the actual podcast.
Maybe someone will get it. There's a lot of countries being guessed.
No.
Okay. Has anyone? Literally, no one has got it yet. Some people are playing along. Okay, we're gonna continue this game. You guys are doing great. Yes, they're getting closer.
Yeah, but they don't know that they're getting closer. All right, I'm pressing enter. The code is in chat. I'm sorry. There, somebody redeemed that code. It's in chat.
Oh, gosh.
Nobody guessed it.
Nobody liked my game. Well, there is a witness code in the wild. And
yeah,
now we can...
it really is. It's in the chat somewhere.
Let us know. Let us know if you redeem it.
This is why we don't do things live.
Now we can. Well, I had a great game, and you just ruined it.
Actually, the 600 plus people watching ruined it because they don't know the difference between a continent and a country.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm still watching. People are still guessing.
Wait, there's a big delay, so just go.
Okay. Thank you to Jonathan for putting the code in. Okay, Gabe, just start massively entering the code in chat over and over again. There you go. Just keep pasting.
There you go. There's a limit to how many times it lets me paste.
Okay. All right. Someone's doing good. All right. Anyhow, well, maybe we should come up with more pre-planned games next time, Gabe.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put you on the game committee for next week's episode.
Yeah. Somebody wanted the answer.
Yes, the answer was Ivory Coast. Brandon.
Who said it?
Brandon Enoch.
Brandon.
Okay, we need to find Brandon, and we need to give him a code to it. We'll give him a code to a different game.
Okay, Brandon. Okay, we got you, Brandon. We'll send you something. There, I have his thing pulled up.
Great. Okay,
we got you, Brandon.
Brandon, we'll get you a code, and now my game was successful, and I'm happy, and we can move on.
Yeah. Somebody else said they got it. So, all right, cool.
Anyhow, let's talk about games. That's what we're here for, and we can start with Division, or we can start with Hitman.
People wanted to hear about the Division, so let's start with that.
Let's talk about the Division.
Okay.
We stand divided on the Division.
I don't think so. I think it's an amazing mediocre game is what it is, really.
An amazing mediocre game.
Yeah, it's really fun, but it's also super mediocre in every single way imaginable.
Okay.
Which
I
is
think
unfortunate.
That's valid, based on what I played. I think
how much have here, let's break this down. How many hours have you played?
Nowhere near as many as you.
No, say the number. We'll each tell you how many hours we played.
Can I count how much I played of the betas and the event I went to?
No, just this.
Okay, 3.
I played 24.
I played at least 15, including all the other hours.
Well, I mean, I've played more if I want to count those too, but I'm not counting those. We're counting this.
I just want to let people know that I have played end-game missions, mid-game missions, early game missions, and Dark Zone. So my series is not reflective of my experience with the Division.
Sure, but the way that you played it is different because you were just dropped into those missions without the progression.
Okay.
You were already given a character that was on that level.
Kind of thinking that maybe that was a better, like it gave me a more enthusiastic look at than if I had been through the progression. My biggest issue with the game, and it was kind of one of my issues with Destiny, is like these are 2 massive entries in the shoot and loot genre now, and they get the shoot part right, but they seem to not get the loot part right very well at all.
This does the loot better than Destiny. I'll say that.
But I find the loot so boring.
What do you mean? Like, what do you expect? Like, how do you make loot fun?
I mean, I think a game like Borderlands makes loot fun.
I think the loot in Borderlands is boring.
Well, it's way more exciting than classic AK-47, police AK-47. Like, literally, when I see people, like, screenshot their loadout of, like, oh my god, I have all purples, their guns are no more exciting or cool or anything than the guns I have currently.
Well, they are. They do, stat-wise, they do a lot more. They do a lot more damage, and the attachments on them are probably a lot better.
But that's all statistical.
Oh yeah, I mean it's an RPG at its core. I think that's the way they designed this game. They wanted to be an RPG first, and that's why we have the bullet sponge enemies. That's why we have the fact that stats are super important in this game. Like it's all about how much DPS your weapon is doing on top of your health and whatever other stats are there. But this isn't Borderlands, right? And you can't. It's kind of unfair to say, okay, the loot isn't as fun as Borderlands when Borderlands is a completely different game that has like tons and tons of variation of loot. Here, that's not how it is. You're just trying to get the best possible in that color group. Really, you start with the green, you go to the blue, then you got purple.
But as you progress, the enemies also in their health go from green to blue to purple. So in effect, you're really not making much progress.
No, absolutely, and that's one of the issues.
That's what I'm saying. Like if the guns had I know it doesn't fit the world of the Division, and even Destiny with their sci-fi world didn't seem to really take a whole lot of creativity in their weapon design. But having guns like Borderlands, and what I mean by Borderlands is like electric weapons or explosive weapons or toxic weapons.
Yeah,
At least
that
gives
just
you
wouldn't
something
fit here.
but it would give you something to get excited about. Like, to me, it's not exciting to see that I have a gun that does more damage and looks and performs exactly the same.
Well, they don't always. Rate of fire is different. Like there is a role for each weapon. That things are different. You can change magazine sizes, and you can fully customize a weapon. So it's not like everybody's running out there with the exact same weapon. There are variations of the AK. Like I said, your AK is probably way different than mine.
But you also fully admit that it's like very uninspired loot.
Oh, absolutely!
Design.
It's
and that's what
it's
I'm saying.
super.
Like, it's just
the whole game is really uninspired.
And it's sad because it does have a fun loop, like the basic loop of the Division. Yeah, the bullets, the enemies are a little bit bullet spongy, and yeah, like maybe the missions aren't the most creative, but the basic loop of it is pretty exciting, and I think it grabs you early on. It's like, wow, this is going to be super great. And I just think that that's about as far as it goes.
To me, its biggest sin is that everything's so mundane, right? You're talking about how the loot isn't great. Right, mundane level design. The level design on some of the levels is actually really, really good. Some of the main missions, right?
Okay.
The first time I fought a fire boss, not a box.
Box boy.
One of those like big dudes with the two canisters on their sides with the yellow health and the machine gun. The first time I fought one of those, it was amazing. Like that was like the boss of the level,
right?
And it was really satisfying to get through all the like middling enemies and get to fight him for the first time. But then the problem is on future missions, it's still sort of that type of enemy.
Sure.
The at least 3 missions that I played, the boss at the end of them is the exact same. Big. He has a different name. His name might be like Scott McDonald over here, and over here would be Zachary. Whatever your last name is over
Finkelstein.
here. There, I can't even say it. Finkelstein. There you go. But different name, same enemy. Like still just
and that's like, if you're gonna have a very realistic like loot progression, like okay, AKs and MP4s and pistols, like to me, then what needs to be different is the enemy types, right? Or the enemy design, or something that's gonna keep this at least evolving in some way. Because let's be honest, the streets of New York aren't that thrilling in terms of level design. And
no, and they try because there's different factions. That they have going on, the flamethrower guys and the regular.
But they're different factions, but like it's basically just the same enemy with a different weapon.
I mean, they look different. I mean, if you pay close.
I guess I just look at like MMOs and I say like, okay, World of Warcraft, Star Wars: The Old Republic, even stuff that has since failed, like the Matrix Online, Age of Conan, new ones like Black Desert Online, Elder Scrolls Online, Lord of the Rings Online. None of them were this like pedestrian in terms of their.
I think they absolutely are this pedestrian.
Hold up, in terms of their theme, they all are fantastical, have exciting like weapons and abilities and exciting armor and exciting gear. Whereas this, like, to me, I look at those characters and I'm like, yay, I got a new cap. And like, there's no pull forward for me to get it, to play 30 hours to get a different jacket or cap or scarf.
Yes, I mean, so it might not appeal to you, and that's fine, right? But there's people that love military shooters. Like, there's a lot of.
But there also is some reason that successful MMOs are not. Let's wander, the middle of Washington D.C. and hang out together. Like, they have either supernatural or fantasy or sci-fi elements, because that's far more exciting and far more entertaining and far more appealing to look at and gun for.
Yeah, sure, to that sect of people, but this broke records for Ubisoft. This is the highest day one sales of all time for them, and that includes it includes a lot of big Assassin's Creed launches. It includes Watch Dogs. So they've struck a chord of some kind, and you're saying people are loving it. That's not what I see. I see people are super divisive on it. A lot of people are enjoying the hell out of it, right? But there's a lot of people that have big issues with it, like you, like me, like Jim Sterling. Jim Sterling made a perfect 30-minute video where he didn't know what to say. Mm-hmm. He said, "Did you see it?"
No.
He literally starts off the video, right, and this is more verbatim. I mean, not verbatim, but I'm paraphrasing what he said. Yeah. He says something like, "I don't hate the game, right? But I can't really explain how I feel about it, just because it's so mundane. Like, what do you really say? The shooting's good, right? Yes, there's bullet sponge enemies. Yes, the level design can get boring because it's still New York City, so it's gonna look the way it looks.
I think it's just a super weird situation because it's a game that, like, at face value would be really mundane and average and ho-hum, and yet has this humongous hype and wave of momentum behind it, and that doesn't really add up. Because what does this do that stands out besides being like a Destiny-alike in a different setting and different world?
Nothing. Yeah. And I think that's where we fall. That it's very cookie cutter almost. I like this more than Destiny.
Do you?
Like, I have fun when I'm playing this. Have you played with people?
I have played with people previously, not on retail. To me, I like Destiny better because at least Destiny, for as repetitive and disappointing as that was, at least like the environments are more interesting to look at. The enemies were more interesting to fight. The guns were cooler to collect. My character looked a heck of a lot cooler. The abilities, for as limited as they were at least something visually appealing. Like that, I think it's a huge mistake to let you just swap out the skills whenever you want. That to me totally devalues that. Like the fact that I don't have to make any choices.
Yeah, but Destiny lets you do that.
But at least you have a class. You're like,
yeah. I mean,
it's a very weird game.
Yeah,
and
I like it. I enjoyed my time with it so far.
What did you like about it? Like the shooting, the bosses, the story. What?
The progression to Dark Zone. I have a lot of fun in the Dark Zone. Playing with people is really fun.
Does Dark Zone ever change beyond just like the mass chaos of chasing people and trying to extract loot?
No, I mean there's enemies. There's stronger enemies in the Dark Zone than there is out there. So in the first area of the Dark Zone, the level 10 through 16, the enemies there are level 14 to 16. So you go in there without a Dark Zone weapon. Like you have a pretty hard time with it. What I had to do was I had to find a group of people to basically carry me through the first few levels, because just shooting an enemy in the Dark Zone and then somebody else getting the kill, that gives you a ton of XP. You'd level up in the Dark Zone very, very quickly, especially in the beginning stages. I am level 16, my regular level, and my Dark Zone is what, 13, 14, something like that.
Is the loot in the Dark Zone spread across your group, or is it only you individually? Like if me and you are working together and we extract something, do we both get it?
No.
Okay.
You individually.
Okay.
We get individual drops. I kill an enemy, he drops something, I only see that. You don't see that. Okay. So it's not like he can go steal that from me. The thing you can go steal from me is the containers that are out there. There's certain containers that are high level. You have to be level 30 in the Dark Zone to get those. There's some that are as low as 10. You have to be at least level 10 to open those containers. Those anybody can get.
Okay.
So if you're trying to get it, somebody sees you and they decide, hey, I want that instead, I'm going to kill you. They get that. But if I kill an enemy and an enemy drops something, that's specific to me.
So there's no, I'll rephrase it. Do you find that to be fun over and over again? Do you think that'll draw, appeal 6 months down the road? Or is that something that's going to get boring really fast, just constantly like, hey, let's go shoot these guys over here. Okay, we got their containers. Oh, they took our containers back.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible for me to say how I'm going to feel 6 months down the road, because the game probably won't be the same 6 months down the road.
I'm just surprised that the Dark Zone, which is the main PvP element, is literally like if me and you jumped into a Call of Duty map.
It's not even PvP. It's PvE.
Well, it is. It can be PvP.
It's PvE.
But isn't the most exciting part when you fight other humans?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's player versus everybody. Like everybody's an enemy. PvP is when it's just player against player, and that's it. Your objective is to kill other players. That's not your objective in the Dark Zone.
Okay, so it's PvPvE, v me v you.
It's PG-13.
It's PGR.
Yeah.
Project Gotham Racing coming back. Xbox One this fall. I'm just surprised that it's literally like me and you dropped into a Call of Duty map chasing each other around. Again, like on paper, this game looks incredibly great, and then you go play it, and I feel like I feel like its hype and the idea of it is what's carrying it far more than what's actually there. I do think it's interesting. I do think it's fun, but I think that fun is like it drops off super fast. I played an early mission, and I had to go up into some buildings. I was like, wow, this is great. I'm on the 5th floor of a building. This is super cool. I decided to see if I could find a different way down rather than just retracing my steps. I go down some side stairwells of the apartment, and I get down to the first floor, and there is no hole nor no ladder. I can't even drop off. I have to go all the way back up, retrace that ground, and retrace the steps.
I don't find that to be the case. I go down fire escapes all the time.
Really?
All the time. And there's also when you're doing a mission that takes you to like the 5th floor, most times, not 100% of the time, but most times there's a rope that you can climb down.
Okay.
So that you don't retrace your steps. You're not meant to retrace your steps.
Okay. Well, the one I played it gave me a bad feeling about the game. I guess I also just like Destiny sort of was the same way, but I felt like there was more variety because the guns were a little bit more eccentric. Like, there's no reason for me to not just use the same MP4 over and over again, except for then then I numerically upgrade to the next MP4 and the next MP4. But there's no reason for me to pull out the pistol or the shotgun ever.
Yes, when you run out of ammo. If I'm shooting at, there's enemies that just lunge at you. They have a baseball bat, they just run at you, right?
Okay.
So you're dumping your let's say your MP4 into them. You run out of ammo. You're not reloading, and this game is slow. So you switch guns, shoot them with the shotgun, and that's how that works. The pistol, I don't switch a lot to, so I can't defend that thing. But I use my shotgun all the time. I love my shotgun. I think it's really good. And also, the AK is just better than the MP4. Like, the fire rate and the way it shoots and the way you can control it, to me, I find it like a better weapon. So if you're there and you're constantly just using the MP4 and you're saying, okay, I have no reason to change, this works fine. Well, that's on you. There's reasons to change. You just don't know about them because you refuse to try these other weapons because you feel like you're fine with this. Eventually, pretty soon, you're going to hit a point where your MP4 just isn't cutting it. It's not doing enough damage.
Right. But then what I'm saying is all I'll do is upgrade to a more statistically powerful MP4.
If the MP4 is your favorite weapon, then sure.
I just would prefer a game that gives me a reason to use different things. As a shooter, like, I would like some impetus to need to use other weapons rather than I could literally mainline this game with the same gun. Granted, I know I need to like change it to a higher.
But any game, right? You can play Call of Duty all with a pistol if you wanted to. Like, nothing's stopping you.
But like there are instances where you need to use like rocket launchers to take different things down. I mean,
well, because it forces you.
Are there vehicles in this game?
No, I haven't seen any vehicles. No.
Are there giant enemies? I mean, is there any reason that you need to use something?
Yeah, there's big
different.
Yeah, there's big enemies. Of course.
And by big, you mean like armored?
Yeah, and fat.
I find it very hard to talk positively about the game, even though I've enjoyed every mission I've played. I think they're kind of interesting and kind of fun. I don't think like critically there's really much good to say. I think it's a game that's way more fun than it is good, and I have no problem with it being fun because I'm having fun with it. I just take issue with people giving it so much praise and Ubisoft coming out and saying this is the future of our game development and open world games are the way to go, because before you know it, we're going to end up with a future where online only, sparsely designed, elongated experiences are the ones we get. I mean, this game, it failed right at launch. You couldn't even play it.
The reason for it failing, and who's to say they're telling the truth, right? But the reason Ubisoft gave for it failing is totally excusable in my mind. They said, "Hey, there was a power outage that just knocked out our servers." It's not like the Division crashed. Okay. Every Ubisoft game crashed. No Ubisoft game were working online, and it was for about 45 minutes, and then it was fine.
Okay, what about the last night? Again, servers were down.
I didn't play last night. I didn't experience it.
Okay, well, I just, again, it's just a weird space where a couple of years ago, Microsoft comes out and announces the Xbox One. It's online only, huge pushback. This game's online only. The servers can't even stand up the first day, and it's like
they stood up the first day though. Besides that first 45 minutes, the first 24 hours were smooth. I played 24 hours in the first 2 days.
Why is the campaign not offline?
I don't know. That's dumb. That's a very dumb decision. I don't know.
I just find it's a weird game to talk about.
Because even the campaign it's not a traditional campaign. You're not getting a whole bunch of cutscenes. Like, you get some.
What do you think about the story? Has that grabbed you at all, or is it?
The premise is wholly interesting. I love it.
Okay.
The premise
of like money being tainted with some sort of plague / disease.
Well, no, the plague being dispersed through Black Friday is what Black Friday masses, corruption, like in the government. Did the government make the virus? And we don't know. People are trying to figure this out. That I find very interesting, but the way that it's being presented to us, I'm not a fan of.
Okay.
Um, I I don't know how people know what are main missions. Like, yeah, the ones that you clearly say mission with a big old emblem on, yeah, but there's so many of them at one time. Like, it has a problem that I thought Hitman was gonna have that Hitman doesn't have. Where how do you tell a story where you can basically go I can go do this mission instead of this one? So I don't know.
Do you feel like one of the major complaints with Destiny early on was that every mission boiled down to the same thing: either clear the area or go hold the button while the ghost downloads data and then defend that area. Do you feel like the Division does better with mission variety or suffers sort of the same?
Yeah, the mission variety isn't there. Like, there's not a lot of it. I'm hoping that changes, but
so when you say that you like this better than Destiny, I've seen quite a few people say that. What stands out as like, wow, this is more enjoyable than Destiny about the Division?
There's a lot more content.
Okay.
The actual missions that are there are actually good. Like,
Okay.
there's some really, really good missions on there, and I can't say that about Destiny. Oh God, what are the story missions in Destiny called? I'm blanking out. I forget. But the story stuff in Destiny, like, it's literally a repeat over and over and over of the exact same area, exact same thing. Here, the missions are different. Enemy types are different, mission by mission. And you're not going through the same building over and over the way you are with Destiny.
So environmentally, it mixes things up more.
I mean, I wouldn't even say that, right? Because it's so just a city. But it's not the exact.
I guess I was trying to understand because on one hand you're telling me like the missions don't have variety, but then on the other hand you're saying
no. Well, keep in mind, 24 hours of this. Like, I played a lot of it.
Yeah.
In a short time span. Then that might be the other problem. Maybe if I was spacing this out,
okay,
I'd feel better. But here, let me think. Why do I like it more than Destiny?
And the cap right now is 30, right?
I don't know what the cap is. I haven't.
Level.
It's probably 30. I haven't seen anything past it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna say playing with people is more enjoyable here?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I think playing this alone is really boring, and it's really borderline dumb. Like, these enemies take way too many bullets to kill. Like, on your own, it's not fun to just sit there and dump bullet after bullet after bullet after bullet into these enemies. If you have friends, you're talking to them about whatever, and then this is just sort of a backdrop. So I don't know. I enjoy it to an extent, but it has a lot of problems. It's really uninspired. The hub world is cool, I guess. The fact that New York is broken up into areas of increasing level as you go on to just places that I haven't even seen, just because I'm not high level enough to go over there. Yeah, I guess I could walk over there, but I would pretty much instantly die. Yeah, but I do think that Division is very mediocre. I think I might sound more positive on it than I am. Like, I think it's the definition of mediocrity, like in video games.
One thing I'd love to see these kind of games explore is rewarding proficiency, because again, Division does the thing where if you're in a group, we're both gaining XP and we're both gaining loot, and like Destiny had that sort of issue with raids and strikes and whatnot, where it's random what you get, and you could do 5 times better than your teammates and end up with worse loot and gear. And I wonder, design wise, what the reason is to not use a merit based loot / XP system, except that maybe it would just split the player base and spread people to separate, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. People that are better just don't have all the better loot, then that means that people that aren't as good just don't have good loot. So on top of them not being as good, they also have shittier loot. So that just wouldn't work.
There's got to be a way, though, for a cooperative play to reward the people doing better and then standardize those weapons, because that's what happens in Destiny anyways, right? Like, when you get into PvP, the weapons are standardized. So why not reward...
unless you're doing the House of Wolves stuff.
Or you mean the Iron Banner stuff?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I said House of Wolves. I meant Iron Banner.
But I guess I just, like... If me and you play the Division, there's virtually no point for me to shoot. Like, I could just stand behind you and still reap the benefits, right?
I don't think you would get as much XP. Like, or dump one bullet into an enemy and then let me kill him, and then
XP
you get the
shared
XP.
No matter what, though. Like, if you kill a guy and I kill a guy, I am pretty sure XP gains are shared.
No, not unless you shoot him.
Are you sure?
Like, okay, look, if I kill an enemy and you don't shoot him, I don't think you get XP for that.
Because when I played at the event, and granted, this was an earlier build back in January, but when I played at the event, I specifically was watching and specifically not doing anything, and my teammates in a 3-man squad were killing everybody, and my bar was ticking up.
Oh, you know what? Maybe, because here's what I'm going off of when I say it's not shared. I'm going off of my experiences in the Dark Zone, which I've mostly done solo.
So that probably.
So when I run into the Dark Zone, right, and I see a group of people and I'm hanging out near them and they kill someone, I don't get the XP for that. So that's what I mean.
Gotcha.
I don't know if you're grouped up. I can't speak on that. I haven't been grouped up in Dark Zone.
Okay, well, we will probably touch on the Division again as it goes. Surprised by the excitement around it, but
which isn't even that much of.
Well, I mean, we said we were going to talk more about YouTube stuff this time around.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that people straight up just act excited about stuff to get more views, and
absolutely, and
I don't think that's wrong, but I think it's important that people are very aware of the fact that people will hype the heck out of anything if it's doing well for their channel or their stream or whatever. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt when someone's like, "Oh my God, those were the best 10 hours of my life," because maybe they're the best 10 hours because they were, sitting at 5,000 viewers on Twitch, not because the game was so great.
See, and here's the thing that I fully accept, that I don't know how your mind works. Your mind doesn't work like mine. Mine doesn't work like yours. To me, that's just an unspoken common sense thing, right? New game coming out, right? That let's say me, right? Let's say I'm a big Twitch streamer. I'm not. Let's say I am, and there's been this buildup, right? I've been talking about how much I love the Division, right? Everybody's into it with me. My audience is excited for it. The game comes out. I stream it for 24 hours. Say, "Oh, this is amazing. Oh, this is so good. Oh, I love this. Look at all these kills. Look at how many bullets this guy took to die. Isn't this great?"
Yeah.
Right?
You're getting me excited already.
The viewers are going to be excited with me. They're going to be like, "Hell yeah, I can't wait to play this." Right? So let's say, now let's change it. You stream this. You're playing this. You're like, "Oh, this isn't so hot. Like, this kind of sucks. Damn, it took like 1 million bullets to kill this guy."
Yeah.
Man, this sucks. Like, people are gonna start tuning out,
right?
Like, no one's gonna stick around for that,
right?
Like,
which is, it is a very,
but like I said, it's an unspoken thing that everybody should know. Like,
I don't think they do.
Nah, they know.
I think about a game like Five Nights at Freddy's, and I think of, in a world without Twitch and YouTube, I mean,
that game doesn't exist. There's one of them, but then the next 4 don't exist.
But even from that standpoint, I bet even the people that play it for YouTube and Twitch would play it and be like, "This is not worth my time."
Absolutely. Like, you know how many fabricated Zach, YouTube is fabrication. Like, that's all it is.
But I think that as YouTube gains a foothold, and as journalistic websites and magazines lose that foothold and are transitioning to try to be more and more like YouTubers instead of the other way around, which is kind of how YouTube started, we're entering this dangerous ground where people are going to have games completely misrepresented and completely take a site like Kotaku. What if they took that approach and were like, "Okay, people are hyped about the Division. If we make a video about the Division, hyping the Division, that article is going to get more clicks than if we just tell it how it is." And before you know it, there is no more honest criticism of anything.
Yeah, well, then there's still I don't mean this. This didn't sound like a bad joke.
Okay.
But I don't mean it.
All right.
People like Total Biscuit are a dying breed. Again, I don't mean that like in the way that it sounds.
Yeah.
Right. But him, Jen Sterling, like, they're all still very honest. Like, the kind of funny guys. Like, there's still people that are still bringing honesty to this thing, right? And not to pit my own stuff, but I made a couple of Hitman videos where I was very honest with how I felt about it.
And we'll get to that in a second here.
I'm gonna make Division videos where I'm gonna say, like, "Hey, this is like really mediocre," and Ubisoft provided us with copies early and all that. But I think honesty is still important. But I don't think you go to PewDiePie for like constructive, critique on a game. You know what I mean? Like, there's people for that.
Yeah, and I don't think most people go to YouTube for critique, but I do think it sets the tone of the conversation when Twitter is populated with whatever the game is, like, "Oh my God, this is so amazing. Oh my God, it's so amazing." And someone comes out and is like, maybe not so much. And you're like, "No, all my other favorite people said it's amazing." It creates a really a weird dynamic. And we know people directly that dislike games or know they're crap or don't enjoy them, and specifically give you the opposite take. So it's an interesting thing to be aware of.
But then again, what do you expect? Like, people gotta eat. People gotta eat.
Again, I didn't say it's wrong or bad or something that should be made illegal in any way or anything like that, or not allowed on YouTube. I guess it's just important to be aware of where you're getting your opinions and your information from. But
wait, right before we move on, I think it's important to say the consumer has a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is to decide, okay, is this worth spending money that you earned very hard? Like hard-earned money is a thing. Like they don't call it hard-earned money for no reason. Like most people don't have like tons of expendable income. So as a consumer, it's your job to get informed, right? So know where you're going. If you go, and I hate to keep saying PewDiePie, I don't know PewDiePie, but if you go to him, right, you're watching that for entertainment value. You're not going over there to see if Five Nights at Freddy's is a good game. So your job as a consumer isn't just watch a video, looks cool, this guy's saying it's awesome, that's it. No, like go check Metacritic, go read some reviews, go check other people's opinions, like educate yourself so that you don't go spend $60 on something that you're not going to like.
Yeah, and so I heard something on Giant Bomb this week that I thought was really, I was shocked they said it, and they said that they feel like hands-on time with games is becoming less and less important and valuable because they can tell how a game plays just by watching. But I personally think for the gamer, watching The Division and playing The Division, watching Hitman and playing Hitman, watching any game and playing is very different. And so you kind of are relying on the person playing to give you some feedback on what it's like.
Yeah.
And if they're just giving you sort of the whoa response, then it's weird. Anyways, I'm coming to you for opinions on Hitman. So I'm putting that faith in your hands.
And just to preface this, because I told you this in text, but I didn't play the beta very much. I played like 10 minutes of it.
Okay.
So to me, this is all new.
Gotcha. And this is the first episode of a multi-episode Hitman game that is getting a full release now in 2017, and the episodes are each $15. First one comes out tomorrow.
No, the first one is $15. The ones after that are $10.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, or you can buy the whole thing for $60. If you already bought episode 1, which is $15, you can purchase the other ones for $50 total if you want.
What if you don't want one? Can you just buy 2?
No, I don't think so.
You have to buy 1.
I believe so.
That's
yeah.
Why it's more. I just didn't know if like wherever you enter, it's 15. Whether it's 2, 3, 4, or 1.
Well, I don't think you can buy like 2 or 3 or 4 if you don't buy one, and one is a $15 one.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Okay, so this is like Hitman at its core, really.
Okay.
And I saw the developers put it this way. They said this is like our love letter, to the Hitman franchise and what people like about it. And that's what they did. They took Hitman and basically they broke it up. Like the intro / prologue, which is what was in the beta, the small areas where you're being trained on how to disguise yourself, how to take out targets in different ways. That the first one on the boat, you have to do it twice because it tells you, hey, there's a lot of different ways to do this here. Do it twice before we send you into the bigger missions.
Right.
The Paris mission, which is the new one for this, besides the beta stuff, it's a big one. It's a huge environment. There's, I have to say, thousands of people in the environment. You are in a fashion show. There's a big corporation that's putting a fashion show, and you have 2 targets that you got to go take out. So multiple targets. One, she hangs out on the second floor. You got to figure out a way to go get her. The other one just walks around. You got to figure out, the best way to take care of him. You can go traditional Hitman style where you're looking around the environment and figuring out, okay, I found some poison. Let me go see if I can poison someone's drink, stuff like that. Or you can use like the new menu, which I think is fantastic, where you have situations that it says, okay, you set the waypoint. It gives you 8 different scenarios of assassination, 4 for each of the 2 targets.
Okay.
So you click on one that sounds interesting to you. So I'll go for the first one since that's the one I think a lot of people are going to show, where there is a male model that looks a lot like you, right? But he wears like face paint. So what you have to do is go take out the male model, get his outfit, go get your face done, and that gives you access to the top levels of the building, and then you go take care of the target however you're going to do so. And there's like 4 different ways for each one of the targets. So 8 different ways to go about this, 8 different very, very cool assassination methods, really. Right. So one level kind of sucks, but they give you so many different ways to do it and different challenges on the way as well. So much replayability. Replayability is there for $15. I think this is a fantastic package.
And that's what I was going to ask you, because basically it's tutorial in one level for $15, which
no tutorial. Okay, does the jet thing count as tutorial still?
No, I guess that's like they call it part of the tutorial, but I'd say it's more of an actual.
Yeah. So you have the tutorial, then 2 missions technically, plus you have contracts which are user generated. Now you can create your own. You can, if you want to spend hours creating contracts and laying out different assassination attempts.
Are they within the Paris environment?
I haven't tried making one, so I don't know what they're within.
Okay.
The one I played has been within the one with the jet in it.
Gotcha. Probably you have to use the environments provided already in the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're not making brand new environments. No,
okay. This isn't Mario Maker. This is an Agent 47 Maker.
And I would say even the Paris one, it's just so populated. Like, how do you change that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't messed with the creation. That's the only aspect of the game I haven't messed with, but that's because I'm not good at creating stuff. So, like, I don't see how people have issue with how much is in this. Arthur Geese, Polygon, said, hey, this is a fantastic start, but it feels like it's a part of the game. And that's because it is part of game. This is part of a larger Hitman game that will eventually be released in 2017. If you don't want to deal with this, wait till next year. You get the whole package.
I guess the concern is just if for $15, you're basically getting tutorial on one level, $10 probably gets you one level. So this game has four levels in it.
No, isn't there like 6 new areas?
Six levels in it?
Yeah, but again, they're big. Plus, they have the escalation mode.
Now, what is that?
You're given a scenario, right? Okay, let's kill Zach dressed as this type of enemy, as a Soviet guard, right? You do that. So that's the first wave. There's 5. The second one is, okay, kill Zach again dressed as that same person, but now you got to do it in this way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so and then the third one would be like, okay, now you have 2 targets. You got to kill each of them in those ways. Plus, you got to find this thing that's hidden somewhere in the perimeter. Like, you got to find this thing. It's in a safe somewhere. You got to unlock it without being caught. So, and then like it gets progressively difficult as you go. There's 5 sections to it. So it goes from easy, and that's how that goes. And those are specifically made by IO Interactive. So those are professionally designed.
Do you think this game started out having a lot more content and then they either ran out of budget or ran out of something, and that's why they split it up? Because I'm just not understanding why this game is episodic at all.
Me neither. Maybe Square saw it could be what you said. Maybe like, they started making it and they're like, hey, we need more money. And Square's like, nah, start putting this out. You make your own money.
Yeah, gotcha.
Or maybe it was the success of Life is Strange that Square said.
Just wanting to experiment more with that model. I mean, they're doing it again for FF7, the remake / remake.
Yeah, Square really likes their episodic stuff. Like, they seem to want some type of money coming in. But what I like about this is that, all right, the game's out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We get the next mission a month from now. The mission after that a month from then, and then they haven't announced the other ones. But hopefully they just keep coming a month apart.
Right.
And if the missions are the size of the Paris mission here, I'm totally happy with it. It's big. It's really big. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and you can go about it in completely different ways. You can get a sniper rifle, right, and go loud. Just try to defend yourself. Be more like a third-person shooter, right? Or do the complete opposite way where you're trying to poison drinks, trying not to get noticed at all, and there's variations in between as well.
Are there multiple tiers to this objective, or is it literally go find one person and kill, or the 2 people, I guess? Like, because to me it sounds like you could accomplish that in like 3 minutes if you wanted to.
You can't. All right, look, if you were to play this Paris mission, I think in an hour you wouldn't complete it.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's that multifaceted and that. Okay.
Yeah, and
gotcha.
There's missed attempts. I'm telling you that there's 4 ways to kill each one of these targets, right? Mm-hmm. If you let's say he already went to the bar and had his drink, you can still go make the poison on another one of those drinks. But what if he doesn't come back?
Right. Gotcha.
Like, you have to figure. Yeah, like I once you understand how the level works, you could probably finish it like in 30 minutes, right? But let's say right now you decided to sit there play live this Paris mission, in an hour you won't finish it.
Okay, that's cool. That makes me feel a lot better, because initially when you said it, I was thinking of the tutorial levels.
No,
that's
big.
The scope for this game.
No,
But it's
no.
okay. It's far more tiered and diverse than that.
Yeah, and another Hitman, very Hitman thing, the chatter of just the random NPCs are sitting there talking about whatever, right? And you use that to your advantage. So the disguise one I'm telling you, where I dressed up as a male model, you walk up and there's this, well, I assume it's a couple, it's a male and a female, and the male saying, "Oh, he looks so good. I wish I looked like him." And she's saying, "Wow, you look fine." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I know I look fine, but look at him. He's like an Egyptian god," and it's funny, really, like you're laughing because it's a funny thing,
right?
And they turn around, they see you, and they're like, "Oh my god, you look just like him." And I'm like, "Yep, I'm gonna go dress up as him and kill someone now." So things like that are all over.
Clue you in on where you could possibly go next, what you could possibly do. That's cool.
Yeah, and in the PC, I don't know how it is on console, but I'm playing on the PC. You can disable all these like hints. You can disable your waypoints, like basically do very, very traditional Hitman where it's just you and this level, figure it out, kill them. That's it.
That
like no hints, no waypoints, nothing telling you what to do. Like
I actually really like the beta, so I'm going to go and play this probably tonight, and it's exciting to hear that it's that large of a level. Like an hour-long level is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a very big level.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Yeah.
The last game I want to talk about today is something very tiny. This is my secret game, Gabe. And it is the first Hearthstone-alike that I feel is worth its own weight, basically. And the game is right here. Plants vs. Zombies Heroes.
Oh my god. I told you Gabe, always...
This game is... it's fantastic. Let me explain.
I'm sure it is, but I'm telling you always under-deliver with these secret games.
Sometimes the little gems are the best gems.
Okay.
You don't put a 5-pound ring on your wife. You give her a nice one.
You don't.
To always carry around. You do?
Yeah.
Just that's how you weigh her down to the floor so she can't even move, just stuck in the kitchen forever?
Yeah. Well, she doesn't ever go in the kitchen. Just make that clear. Let's not have any misconceptions about Lucy spending time in the kitchen.
So Plants vs. Zombies Heroes came out today in New Zealand and a couple other countries.
And did it come out in America?
No. It's
soft. You got it.
It's soft launched, and I was extra excited to hear about this because I played this game last May or June, one of the two, when I was out at PopCap. And all over the offices at PopCap, they had art for this game. And I was like, this looks so cool. And I'm so sad that I can't say anything about it. And I played it on the head of the studio's cell phone. And basically what it is, they take all the plants and zombies from Plants vs. Zombies, and they turn them into superheroes. So you have like, a sunflower that can turn on fire. You have a walnut or a potato mine that, the potato mine in Plants vs. Zombies, it's like the little mine. Yeah. Actually, in this game, he comes out from under the ground, and below his tiny head is a massive body. So he's like a Godzilla-type creature.
Yeah.
But the game is their take on Hearthstone. So it is a card-based game that is lane-based. So when you play this game, there's 5 lanes. And you can put the plants in one of these 5 lanes or the zombies in one of these 5 lanes. There are also cards that will enhance the plants. They call them tricks cards that will affect your opponent. You pick a hero. There's 10 plants and 10 zombie heroes that each have their own sort of super ability. So it's very Hearthstone-esque. But why I feel like it earns its spot so well is that the mechanics are different enough that it's not just, hey, Plants vs. Zombies, we've got cards and we're going to try to replicate Hearthstone. They're taking what makes Hearthstone addictive and what makes Hearthstone successful and what makes Hearthstone fun and bringing it to the Plants vs. Zombies world. So to me, it has that addictive nature of collecting cards, buying packs, unlocking new heroes, but does it in a way that is all Plants vs. Zombies. So you have these 5 lanes, and the way that the combat works then is you'll place your plants or your zombies in these lanes, and then when you battle, it goes from left to right and progresses through, this lane does its attacks, this lane does its attacks, this lane does its attacks. And very similar to Hearthstone, you have 20 health. You're trying to get the person down to 20 health. Each turn, you gain more mana. In this game, it's either sunshine for the plants or brains for the zombies. But it works so well, and it's so... I guess it's probably an evolution of... There's a mode in PvZ1 and PvZ2. Might just be PvZ2, the mobile games, where... plants would scroll on this conveyor belt and you would just put them down.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of that because they even look like little cards in there, and then you would just place them. So this one is, drawing new cards, but it has all like those tried and true winning formulas of Hearthstone. So there's zombies that when you play them will summon another zombie. There's plants that when placed next to this kind of plant will give it +1/+1. So it has like that very Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, health, attack, defense type mechanics. And yet is all dolled up in Plants vs. Zombies art and new art, because again, these are heroes. It's not just, pea shooter versus engineer, or sunflower versus soldier. They are totally different. And that was like the most exciting thing when I was at the studios. Like, the art was insanely cool. And I just find it super entertaining. They've committed to everything is unlockable without money. There are ways to purchase things, just like there are in the grid-based Plants vs. Zombies. But I just think it's a really smart like remix on the Hearthstone thing. It's not Hearthstone skin with PvZ. It's PvZ taking Hearthstone and reformulating it to fit their franchise and fit their ideas and bring some new ones in, because it reminds me almost more of like a Yu-Gi-Oh style game where you're summoning, creatures. And I know you do that in Hearthstone, but here they're specifically in spots, right? It's not just, on the field of play. And there's a roof, so you have a higher level, and there's water, so you have a lower level. Some plants and some zombies are more successful up high, some are more successful down low, but they can also be placed anywhere. And there's just a lot of variety. You don't even know about this when you play through the first tutorial level, but you can place some plants in front of others, and they'll grant bonus to those behind. Just like in the grid-based mobile games, like a triple P shooter will fire in a 3-lane burst. So a lot of creativity using that lane system in conjunction with the different plants and zombies, and has like the charm. To me, it seems like a home run, and I'm very interested when this launches in America and the major markets.
When is it happening?
They have said soon. Usually after it comes out in these other countries, it seems like it's like a month or so later has been the thing. Because like Angry Birds does this where they launch in these smaller markets as their soft launch, and all the major games do. It does have some lag and a little bit of slowness, so I'm guessing that's going to be worked out as they sort of, iterate on the versions of the game. But PvZ is a big brand, and I'll be interested to see how this sort of catches on and how it handles that Hearthstone, more TCG, CCG player base. It has missions for like a single player campaign type thing, just like Hearthstone has multiplayer. And it's kind of cool to see those characters in a totally different setting, just like Garden Warfare sort of repurposed all your favorites in a totally new way and brought them into a genre that didn't seem like it would work and yet did so well. For whatever reason, PopCap seems to have like the golden touch with Plants vs. Zombies, where whatever they do with it, it's super fun. So I've had a blast playing that today. And there are easy tutorials if you want to get the game. You can easily create a New Zealand account totally for free. You don't need any like crazy credit card. You don't need any credit card actually. And you can find guides on that. Mine I found on Eurogamer. But it's super cool. It has daily quests. I'm curious to see how this will compete with Hearthstone.
Me too. But you know what I'm also curious about?
Yes.
Who's going to win this copy of this game you're about to give away?
Who is going to win the copy of the game I'm about to give away? I guess we should not do another Guess the Country puzzle.
No.
So we are giving away a code for Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition. And we will do that. Let's ask a question. Does that sound good?
Sure. People were
hoping that we would give another game away.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say people about a game that they maybe haven't heard of. I've never heard about this Plants vs. Zombies thing. I'm excited to try it out. I'll probably check out that Eurogamer tutorial talking about it.
It's actually really, really cool. Okay, so let's give away this code. It's for Xbox One. So the question that we will ask. I got a good one. And I'm gonna look it up right now so that I have it up. So I when someone calls it out, they'll know instantly.
Okay.
The question is, how many episodes of our last podcast, what number did we end on for our last podcast?
Okay.
For Can't Stop Playing, the last episode uploaded to iTunes was on November 26, 2015. What episode number was that?
Okay. Just tell it to me on Skype so I can, if I spot someone, say it right away.
Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
All right. And while that's happening, I'm sure someone's going to get it pretty darn instantly.
I was going to say that can't be right, but then I forgot that we resubmitted the thing.
Yeah. So we are going to also pick our winner for the $200
there,
gift card.
Got it.
Boom. First person gets it. Cog83, good. Awesome. Okay, so that is cool. And when we do these live, we probably will give away games, get a lot of extra codes from awesome developers and publishers, so we'll bring those to you. There's already been a winner.
Cog, we're going to send, if we can't wait, I was going to say we're going to send it to you through a message on YouTube, but I don't know how to do that anymore.
I do. If you save their links and give it to me, I'll get it to them.
Yeah, I have their links.
Okay, cool. So now, Gabe, we're left with the important task of picking the contest winner from the review contest. The last.
Oh yeah, very true. Let me pull up my phone. Let's do that.
The last. Gabe, is this episode 4 or is this episode 3?
It's 4.
It's 4?
I believe so. 3 went up last week. Yeah, episode 3 was Quantum Break and game delays.
Oh, that's right. Okay. All right. For some reason, it's not showing on.
I see it on iTunes.
Oh, okay. My iTunes is just messed up.
Yeah, I see it.
So let's go through these reviews. There's 151 entries, and all you got to do is leave a review on iTunes.
We're not going to go through all of them. Don't worry, guys.
No. Just going to go through and find some favorites. I'm just going to read a couple as we go, and then we'll pick a winner. So this one comes in from Dark Other 12345. He says, yes. The new podcast is finally here. After listening to every episode of the Can't Stop Playing podcast, I can assuredly say that both Zach and Gabe are extremely intelligent individuals who each have unique personalities and perspectives on games and the gaming industry as a whole. If you like video games, this podcast is for you. If you like humor, this podcast is for you. If you like advice, this podcast is for you. In fact, if you love life, you will love this podcast.
Okay,
it's a very lovely review.
I was trying to find that one, but I didn't see it.
All right, give me a good one that you found.
Okay, all right. Do you have another one that you can read while I find one? Because I'm still looking.
I can. This one comes from Brie Legra. SUPERcast is basically the only podcast I'm subscribed to. They talk about great topics that actually interest me. The topics are also up to date, which is awesome. Gabe and Zach are hilarious together and very interesting. I think everyone should subscribe to their podcast if you enjoy up-to-date gaming topics and two humorous people. You guys rock. Zach and Gabe. It sounds like we wrote the review, but we didn't.
Yeah, I found one.
All right.
From Skittle Spartan. It says, my favorite podcast of all time was Can't Stop Playing, and I was saddened to hear that the crew had shut it down. I was ecstatic to hear that they were starting a new podcast to listen to while I game. The cast in this show is amazing. Zach and Gabe are way more personal and like my friends than any other podcast. Keep up the great work. The great work, guys. Sorry, couldn't read there at the end because I got a message.
They're getting choked up.
No, Civil War trailers are tickets are on sale. That's what that was.
Oh boy. Yeah. One more cool review. This one comes from Nintendo Cam, and he says, "Hey guys, I'm a 28-year-old mailman gamer. It's a unique species of gamer who has a lot of time to listen to podcasts while I'm out on my route by myself. I listen to them all. IGN, Game Informer, Kind of Funny, and more. I've got to say, this was an amazing podcast. It was like I was sitting right there talking games with my friends. You guys went in depth on all the games currently relevant, and I loved every minute of it. I can't wait to see this evolve. This is a must-listen podcast for anyone who loves console gaming. The name and logo are great, although I'd love to see the full name somehow hidden in the logo design. Maybe it already is. You just haven't found it yet.
All right, so now we got to just pick the winner.
Now we got to find the winner, which is always a tough task because there's plenty of good reviews. Many are very well written. And many are very kind. There are some that are honest too, which I appreciate. So now we just have to scroll through and find. I don't know why so many people are talking about Donald Trump in this podcast thread.
The entire chat has been about Donald Trump.
Well, I'm glad they're paying attention to our game chat. That's good. All right, so
Console, I see you on Twitter. I saw your message. I got you. I know that's you. I saw it.
Gotcha. Okay, let's see.
Come on, Zach, pick a winner.
I think this is a good one. I'm gonna go with this as the winner. I think that they very much understand you and I.
Okay, which one is it?
So
this person won the $200 gift card.
This person wins a $200 gift card to Amazon, and we'll get in touch with you, and you can let us know where you're from, because Amazon gift cards should work pretty much anywhere, unless you're in a place that doesn't have Amazon. But here we go. This one, the winner of the $200 $200 Amazon gift card is Noyak, and his review reads like this.
I know Noyak. Okay.
2016's best video game podcast, the SUPERcast, is led by two super gentlemen, Ghost Robo and Volatile Gabe. Ghost Robo is as genuine as they come. He's a guy who has weird and strange habits, thinking about his bird-like eating or his obsession with Taylor Swift. I have bird-like eating?
You do.
Okay. But what ultimately happens after listening to Ghost Robo is that you get to meet someone who has core values, positive, strong opinions, and who's proud of the person they are. Over the last year of watching his channel and now listening to Supercast, Ghost comes across as a friend. Gabe. Gabe is a soft-spoken, thinking man's Texan, and he breaks all the stereotypes of what a Texan is. I started watching his streams and was blown away by the way he welcomes his viewers and actually answers questions as he plays. Now when I listen to Supercast, I love when Gabe talks about his impressions of games that I watched him play live. If you enjoy gaming podcasts that are focused on games, gaming news, and most importantly, are positive gamers who want to have fun, this is the Super Podcast for you.
Noyak watches my streams. I'm familiar with him. I talked I respond to his stuff all the time. Good for him. And I had nothing to do with you winning, Noyak. That was all Zach. It was meant to be, man.
I just like the fact that you commented on my bird like eating, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Yeah, enjoy that, Noyak. Congrats.
Yeah, so we'll get that to you. I think that now, based on the length of the show, we should probably save the NX talk for next week and go to emails.
And let's do Civil War very quickly.
Okay, our news bite for this week is going to be civil battle. For the rights.
All right, so Civil War trailer came out, right? And I think it's I don't. Where'd you get that from?
They said it's the final one.
Who said?
I thought Marvel did.
Did they?
Yeah.
They just called it trailer too. I don't know.
Well, maybe it's not. A trailer came out today for Marvel Civil War.
The big trailer with Spider-Man at the end for a whole second. People losing their mind. Yeah. Zachary. Yeah. All right, so let's break it down, Zach. You have issues with this. I love it. I thought it was a fantastic trailer.
I like the trailer too.
Ant-Man on the arrow, just like in that cover. Like, oh man, that is so cool. So cool. All right, but go.
The teams aren't balanced at all.
All right, you say that, but here's the thing. In the Civil War comics, there was a mole, Zachary. Iron Man had someone that he thought was on his team that wasn't on his team. Zach?
Okay.
No, but they are pretty even because look, I think Ant-Man is pretty equivalent to Iron Man, maybe not in the like repulsors.
What about his brain and like tactics standpoint? Paul Rudd could barely even use the powers in the movie.
He was learning. Remember, Iron Man learned how to do it too. He was bumbling around while flying.
So you're somehow equating Ant-Man and Iron Man. All right.
Yeah, they're pretty even. Okay.
Okay. Even though one's super tiny.
Yeah, he can't see him. He could get inside his suit and pull off cables from inside. You don't.
Can he fly?
He can be thrown. He can hang onto an arrow.
Okay.
Hawkman can shoot the arrow towards Tony.
Hawkman. See, he's so lame you don't even know his name.
Hawkeye.
Hawkman. Male Katniss, as I like to call him.
It's Hawkeye. I said Hawkman.
I think the trailer looks cool. I was actually surprised I liked the trailer. I still think that Captain America and Bucky are like two of the dumbest characters ever on film.
You're dumb.
Captain America is such an airhead. What can he do?
He's a super soldier.
Okay, but
he has super
literally
strength.
should have been killed long ago.
He may be killed soon.
Okay, good.
He'll come back.
I just don't understand how anyone could say they're Team Cap when you got Iron Man, you got War Machine, you got Black Panther, you got Vision, all on the same team.
War Machine is lame. Okay,
War Machine is great in Marvel vs. Capcom. Let me just state that.
So what? War Machine is lame. All right, so who? Iron Man's cool, sure.
Black Panther is cool.
Sure, we think.
Everyone thinks Spider-Man's cool.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's also on Iron Man's side.
Yeah, but Spider-Man is also the one with the least powers. I think Hawkeye could just kill Spider-Man.
Okay, Also, Captain America has no desire for any sort of safety or regulation. All he cares about is his best friend. He's insanely selfish.
That's not true. Because here's the point that you're failing to realize, right? Cap was just burned by the government because Hydra infiltrated them, right?
Okay.
So he doesn't trust the government. So when the government comes along and says, "Hey, we kind of want to regulate you guys," Cap's like, "Well, no, we were working with you guys, and then it turned out that you guys are all evil, and the reason you want to regulate us is because the evil government basically dropped like helicarriers on these cities, and we're being blamed for it. Yeah, we were there, we're kind of our fault. We shot them down and everything, but." It was the government.
Why doesn't Iron Man just call out his entire ensemble of Iron Men and just berate and blast Captain America's headquarters and kill all of them instantly?
Also, they're not trying to kill each other. That's the other thing. But you're failing to realize these people still care.
I read Civil War. I know they're not trying to kill each other.
Yeah, these guys just don't go around killing each. That's not the goal. Because Vision could just go kill everyone.
I know.
But
why would you ever join Captain America's team? He's terrible.
I think Cap is awesome. I think Cap is awesome. He's a man out of time, right? He doesn't fit in, and maybe that's the reason you don't like him. He's like really old fashioned. He has like these lame jokes. I like his personality, and he
hate
stands
his
up.
powers.
What? He doesn't like. Yeah, he has super strength. It's not a power. He can throw a shield.
Couldn't they have found? Okay, why didn't they incorporate some of the other characters from Civil War into this so that you could have actually had a decent battle?
Like who? Like who?
Like Wolverine.
They can't.
Like Hulk.
They have other plans for Hulk. They
I also just can't stand the Bucky storyline.
Which is like,
I would go against my entire country, my family, everyone for this one friend.
It's not why he's doing it. He like, wait, hold on. Do you think that the Civil War thing is because of Bucky alone?
No, I don't think it's because of Bucky. But I just
he's not like, oh, you guys all trying to hurt Bucky.
In the last Captain America movie, he nearly killed himself and ruined everything to try and save Bucky, even though it was clearly not happening.
It happened. What are you talking about? What do you mean clearly not happening? Got him.
I think that how for you, the Amazing Spider-Man movies are like the bane of superhero movies, and like
and not just for me, for a lot of people.
To me, it's the Captain America movies that when people say that they're like their favorite series, I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't like the first Captain America at all. The second one is fantastic.
Winter Soldier is a movie about a man stuck inside of a computer controlling everyone, and
you're stupid.
A dopey guy and the dopey girl have to go figure it out.
Oh, shut up, Zach. The movie's about a man in a computer. A scene that literally happens in about 3 minutes.
That's the crux of the movie. That's the villain. That's the villain. Stephen Hawking from Russia is stuck in a computer.
Oh, shut up, Zach. That's not what the movie's about. You're a fool.
I hated Winter Soldier so much. Let's take some questions. If you have any questions.
Spider-Man look cool. People are being assholes with the costume thing. Yes, it doesn't look super traditional. The eyes, you can hear when he like closes them a little bit. You hear the mechanics in them. Tony made the mask.
Let's have a moment of silence for Andrew Garfield, who was a way better actor than this kid ever hopes to be, and a much better Spider-Man.
Yeah, but he was in the fucking worst superhero movie ever.
Unfortunately, both of those actually had some sort of plot and emotion that you could align with.
My god, you are bonkers. Move along.
There is no. Okay, Gabe.
Plot and emotion.
Tell me what you like. Tell me what you like about Avengers 2.
I hate Avengers 2.
There you go. Good. Thank you. Thanks for validating my claims. All right. Questions in the chat. All right. Let's see. I'll take one from the email first.
All right.
And then we will
wait. Let's tell people. Chat, ask us like legitimate questions. We're not gonna answer any weird shit. We're not gonna
like
answer
how tall are you? These have to be like podcast.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and answer why won't you vote for Trump? Like.
All right. So this is a good one. This comes in from Noyak. Wow. What are the odds? It's like there's a conspiracy.
Hey, Noyak, you can all the love today.
What do you guys think about the possibility of this upgradable Xbox One? Do you think it could work? Do you think that Sony would follow suit? Is Microsoft making a mistake? Keep up the great work. And he is referencing a talk that Phil Spencer had back at the Spring Showcase, where they talked about sort of the Xbox platform being an iterative platform that could turn into sort of that previous thought where people were like, hey, instead of having a full console cycle, we'll just have like the Xbox 1.1 and 1.2 and 1.3 and kind of have them always be backwards compatible but not forwards compatible, almost like iPads or iPhones today.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it'll work.
Do you think it could happen though?
I think we'll come close, just like we came close to the online only thing.
Okay.
Like Microsoft like has these ideas that could or could not be brilliant, really, and they kind of have a history of just backtracking once they get the backlash.
Right.
Like if this is something they want to do, they got to do it. People are gonna complain. People are gonna be like, "Hey, what the hell? I just bought this one a couple of years ago, and there's not a whole lot of games on it. Now there's this new one. Are the new games on that? Am I gonna be able to play them over here?" Like, people are gonna complain.
We saw how well it worked out for Wii U, for new 3DS, and worked out horribly. I just don't know what benefit does Microsoft gain by this. Like, okay, so they make their 1.2 a little bit stronger, or 1.1 a little bit stronger than the PS4. That's not gonna flip sales.
Yeah, I see no reason to do it. Oh, I found a good question.
Okay. To me, it seems like a move of desperation, which I don't know why they would be feeling so desperate. I mean, they're not selling as well as Sony, but that's not necessarily...
They're not doing as bad as Nintendo. They're fine.
Yeah, so I don't know why you would alter that. I could see a shorter cycle than last time. We don't need an 8-year console generation, but iterative, like, okay, so then either A, you split your player base, which is never a good thing, or B, you say like, oh, Gears of War 4 looks better on the 1.1, but is someone going to go and buy the 1.1? The model that I heard, sort of the best theory on this, was that if we have a new Xbox every year, every 2 years, it keeps the new buyers on sort of the freshest edge. The old buyers don't have to upgrade, but then the new people feel like they're constantly, getting the best system. So when the PS4 sort of gets old and long in the tooth, the Xbox 1.5 may look like a better purchase and a better pickup.
Sure, but at that point, why am I not just playing this on PC?
If
These Microsoft
if that's all you
games
care about, it seems sort of silly.
Here, all right. So Nerdtastic Lauren says, "What is your opinion on the cancellation of the development of Fable Legends?" Good. Well, it sucks that the studio closed down.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate, but I don't know anyone that was excited for Fable Legends.
I mean, I think the fact that Fable Legends was taking so long to come out and going through so many weird alphas and betas and showing it. I played it at PAX East last March, and it was no closer to release. I don't think it's missed. I think some people have nostalgia surrounding Peter Molyneux and Lionhead and Fable 2, but I don't know if that studio is ever going to put out a winner again. I mean, at least the Fable genre seemed pretty much tapped to me.
Yeah, remember at some point they announced that they were making 3 more Fable games.
Very weird.
Well, none of that is happening anymore. So,
a lot of people talking about No Man's Sky, and I guess we could give our thoughts on that. A lot of information came out. The game's $60. It comes out the 3rd week of June. Mm-hmm. It has aliens that you can talk to.
Mm-hmm.
It has discoverable languages. It has combat.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts after hearing, seeing, reading, and all that stuff?
I legitimately think people are babies.
Okay.
How is this a $60 game? Shut up. This is like a game that's damn near infinite. They're telling you cannot do everything in this game in 300 hours. You can't.
Okay.
And people are still complaining about it being $60. I don't know what people want anymore.
Yeah, I have no issue with the price.
No one's played the game. That's my other thing. We've seen bits and pieces here and there, but no one really knows what the game is. Yes, it's exploration. Yes, it's discovering things. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But how is the hour-to-hour gameplay? How is this going to work? Besides, flying around and discovering things. But I don't know. I think prejudging something like this just based off price, which is what's happening here, it is weird to me.
I have no issue with the price. I still feel very unsure of what this game plays like. I mean, I understand you go from planet to planet, you get resources, you talk to aliens, you don't understand them, so you have to find monoliths that reveal words, but I'm still very confused about the sort of the superstructure, the overarching foundation of what this game is. What is the end goal? What is the reason? It's not a roguelike, so you're not dying and coming, you have to go find your body or survive. It's why are you killing these aliens? Why?
Yeah,
it's still super up in the air to me.
Well, it's like a nebulous game, really. Yeah. I don't know. That's where I get a little concerned that people are prejudging it, really. And the price being weird. It's a $60 game, so what?
I think that the scope of the game gives people so much enthusiasm, and that's great. But until I see someone play this for more than a tiny demo, because again, the demo that the press played this week was a 30-minute one planet demo.
Yeah, so
I need to know what the progression and the structure of this game is more than.
What if there just isn't any, and you're
literally a wandering simulator?
Yeah, what if that's just it? You go from place to place, discovering stuff, new languages, like you said. There's combat that What if that's just it? No
purpose,
story.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. That's
just
all they've shown.
A futz around the universe game, which could have its own merits. I mean, I do think it's important to realize that this game comes from Hello Games, who made Joe Danger.
Yeah.
Not to say that you can't evolve from an indie title to something more major, but just know that they don't have the team nor the budget to make this Grand Theft Auto scoped space.
Well, this opera. Is huge. This is
huge.
But I think they have an algorithm to where
it's not handcrafted content throughout the universe. No. And the quote I heard was that 9 out of 10 planets won't be very interesting. Which
who said that?
That was a quote that was given by one of the presenters of the demo. That 9 out of 10.
Well, one of the presenters, he made that
he said that 9 out of 10 planets will not be very interesting. It will be a rare moment when you find a planet that has like lots of lushness or lots of cool creatures. Like the goal is to make you feel very isolated, and when you come upon these moments, they want it to be a surprise. So they have to make sure that a lot of the game isn't exciting, which I think is such a strange design philosophy.
I mean, we'll see. Like, it's hard to speak on a game that we don't know a lot about. But I have another question here.
Okay.
From GOPC, I can't read that last part. What do you want from Dishonored 2? I'm aware he's talking to you. I'm aware that you don't love the previous game, but what would it need to improve?
My issue,
that's coming too.
Yeah, that's going to be theoretically a cornerstone of Bethesda's conference at E3. I think what it needs is, to me, my issue with Dishonored, and I take issue with a lot of games like this, was that it required you to go out of your way to make it cool. Like, you could play the game and get through very quickly and very simply, or you could do like these awesome stealthy things and combine these moves. I would like to see the game have more of... Honestly, I would like to see the game go from more scenario-based to more level linear-based. That would be my ideal. Take those powers and utilize them in ways that are required throughout levels, rather than like, hey, there's a mansion and you can go in and kill people and use all the powers and be stealthy, or you can literally kill everyone instantly and just run out of there.
What a fine line, like, game developer walk, right? Mm-hmm. Because if a game is like too linear, right, they get crap for like, oh, this is so linear, like you can't do anything, you're on on the solo path, right? And then on the other side you have, oh, everything's too open, like, right, I want more linear, like open world sucks, like why can't we just have more linear, like, what do we want from them, really? Like,
I think it's a hard game to do well. I think a melee combat focused stealth game is tricky.
Yeah. I think game design in general is tricky.
The game I want, if you want to know, is I want Dishonored, but in a shooter format. So I want a game that is very, power heavy. Like, Dishonored is very cool in the sense that you can acquire all these powers and level up and get all these, level up via powers and get all these, pieces of equipment, and you're solo. It's not an MMO. It's not a team game. It has a story, but I'd love like a shooter, a very good, like, how many good linear single player shooters do we have that aren't mass conflict, mass military? Very few. Can't even think of any.
Spec Ops. Well, what do you mean by shooter? First person, third person, does it matter?
I would prefer first, but I guess it doesn't matter.
Spec Ops is a good one.
That is. That's also like approaching like pretty long ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Homefront, the original.
I think back to a game that I really enjoyed. It was called Singularity.
Yeah, Singularity was cool.
And like, if you did that more in the Dishonored style, in the sense of like open environments and more progression and more powers, like, I don't know. I just, in my head, always have this gorgeous looking game that's almost like Killzone style graphics with a Dishonored theme, but it's a shooter, and you're getting like, tracer bullets and poison bullets and, different
Crisis.
Abilities. Except Crisis, though, is more... I want something that has like the stealth of like, you're like a one-man...
Far Cry.
Yeah, but Far Cry shooting is very generic.
Yeah, I don't know what you want.
I want a linear, level-based... I want Dishonored, but with shooting and powers and gorgeous graphics. They asked me what I wanted. I'm just telling them. I got an email here. This is from Raymond McGee, a big fan of the podcast and a longtime listener. He says, hey guys, hope you're having a great show. Usually when I write you guys something, it has to do with gaming, but today I want to ask something a little more personal. I'm at an age now where I really like to start considering my future. I'm not 30, but I am 16 and I'm in full-time education, so I've got a lot of life ahead of me, but I'd still like to start thinking about things like this. Not a lot interests me. I don't like the idea of working a monotonous job in a boring environment, so I'd like to do something I enjoy and something I'm good at, and the one thing that keeps coming back to me is working as a games journalist. He then goes on to explain basically that games journalism is kind of dying.
Absolutely.
And so he says, by the time I'm old enough to get involved, written media probably won't be that popular. After watching...
It's already kind of not that popular.
After watching Gabe's video on his troubles getting popular on YouTube, I feel like getting noticed and becoming successful would be a huge obstacle in the way of all this. and that working as a games journalist would end up sucking all the enjoyment I have for playing games. So I asked you guys, two people of experience in working in some fashion in the industry, basically, is giving my hopes and dreams to the game journalist idea a good idea or a risky one? Thanks so much, Raymond from Ireland.
Boy, is it risky. And I think you maybe misunderstood my video. It's not like, oh, I can't get popular on YouTube. That's not what it was. Mm-hmm. It's for me, it was more of a channel growth thing. And that no matter how hard you work, ad revenue is down because of ad block and a whole bunch of other stuff that I won't get into. So that's what my video was about. It wasn't like, I can't get popular. I don't care to be popular. It doesn't matter to me. You're saying, is it risky? Absolutely. If this is something you really, really want to like invest a lot of time in, just know that it could all be for nothing.
I think if you're thinking the traditional, like I'm going to work in an office for a magazine and be the editor, yes. But I do think that there is still space for games criticism. Just know that it's a very exclusive field that is very what's the word, like it's very, they end up trading people through jobs, not acquiring new people. I'm blanking on the word to use this. I'd like to say incestuous, but that's a little harsh. In the sense that the same people end up, you see the same person on IGN and then Kotaku and then Giant Bomb and then
because they have the experience.
So it's very hard to break into that fold. There's not a lot of money in it, and it seems
that's the other thing. There's not a lot of money in traditional game journalism, other than becoming super popular on YouTube or on Twitch or whatever. Like, there's not a lot of money in it. There really isn't, unless you get this massive audience. And let's be honest, like, what are the chances of that, right? And even then, what are the chances of that 5-10 years from now?
Right. I mean, I think, honestly, as crazy as it is, I think if you're super passionate, either doing it as a side project to start, like a YouTube channel or a blog, is a much better choice. And then if it does evolve into something that you can take sort of more mainstream, it's hard to recommend when the field is narrowing so much and it's already so narrow and it's already so limited. Because what are your options? Say your publication shuts down. Really, your only option is to go to another site or another podcast or another whatever. And if those continue to shrink and change, there's going to be even less space for newcomers.
Yeah. I mean, and even people that have been sites that have been around for years, Game Trailer shut down.
Right.
Like Joystick is no more. Like these are places that are read and were very well liked for a very long time.
Right.
Thousands of people.
I thought you were going to say thousands of years.
No. Thousands of people read these things every day.
Right.
And now they're just not existent because, the big guys, IGN and GameSpot, they cover what they cover, and they do it well to an extent. IGN isn't what it used to be, obviously.
Sure.
But you have Polygon covering that very small, not small, but that niche that they've carved out for themselves, and they have the more pretentious fan can go hang out over there with Polygon, and they're great. Like, they really are. Like, Polygon does awesome stuff. Arthur is a fantastic writer. Like they editor or whatever he wants to call himself these days. I don't know. They have a great staff. They have a great staff over there doing cool stuff.
Sure.
Everywhere. So it's really hard, I think.
Yeah. Question from John. Go ahead.
Wait, I wouldn't say, if I could talk 16-year-old Gabe, if 16-year-old Gabe would I be asking me this, I would say avoid it like the plague.
But that doesn't mean that you have to avoid gaming or avoid your own.
No, I'm not saying avoid gaming. But I'm saying don't make that the thing that you're focused on.
Yeah.
Right. Don't have, becoming an editor as IGN be your main goal, in my mind.
Yeah. And I think that's the sort of the smart path. But at the same time, and I've been thinking about this a lot for my own life, at the end of the day, if you're dead set on something from a happiness standpoint, and that would honestly make you, just jumping for joy every morning, then go for it.
But then people change, because first couple of years of my YouTube channel, that was me jumping for joy every morning. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
3 years later, it's a headache. And so
I'm just saying, like, don't let the limitations destroy your drive if that's really what you want.
Yeah, if that's what you want, by all means, go for it, dude. Work hard, get your degree, learn to write some good articles, and do it. That's it.
Good letter, though. Jonathan asks, what are both your thoughts on Doom 4? Do you guys think it will do well? And that's really appropriate because I watched the multiplayer trailers today, and I was thinking that same thing. I was thinking, this looks really cool, but is there an audience or a market for this?
I think so. The gore is going to bring the kids in. The old people already in because they love Doom from a long time ago, and this looks really good. I think there's definitely an audience for it.
So you think it has a player base that withstands?
Oh, who knows? It's an arena shooter. Those things don't really exist anymore, right?
Yeah.
So
I thought some of the demon stuff looked cool. I think it is one of the best looking games I've ever seen. Maybe even the best looking game. There is something just so crisp about those graphics. They're so clean. It's ridiculous that the same company that's putting out Fallout 4 is putting out Doom because...
Yeah. Well, I mean, separate, completely different.
Yeah, I understand, but it's just like, it's not even night and day. It's like before the earth and day in terms of fidelity. But I hope
it's exciting. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, me too. The beta is March 31st. That's only 3 weeks away.
Let's do a couple more here. I have one, and then hopefully you have one. Okay. They're asking, have we heard of Don't Nod's new game, The Vampire Ward? Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Such a departure from what Life is Strange was to this like gothic vampire RPG. Like it's so weird. What do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's great that they're able to do something that clearly seems like a more of a passion project than a sales project, which is great. Life is Strange was that, and that turned out fantastic. So the fact that they're given the budget and the confidence to go out there and make something that they want to make that doesn't fit into a cookie cutter genre seems cool. I don't really know what the game is still. I mean, I understand it's like this mysterious vampire dark RPG, but without seeing a bunch or playing it, I'm not really sure what it's going to be. I'm very excited. I don't think Life is Strange was a technical achievement, but I think that the emotion and the ideas behind that game were really, really cool. And so I would play anything they put out, whatever it was. Let's see. You
don't have any last emails?
I can go through emails. Yeah, I was looking at the chat.
I got the chat. You do email.
All right. So this one comes in from Martin, and he says, "Hey guys, longtime listener, love you guys forever. However, today I wanted to ask you nicely, how the F do you keep on playing Dark Souls without smacking someone or something to pieces? Started playing my first Dark Souls game last week, and needless to say, haven't gotten very far. Can you give me some advice on how to succeed? Because I know it's extremely rewarding once you do." I probably have more time with Dark Souls than you, I think.
Well, Dark Souls 1. I've played a lot of Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
I've finished it like 1.5 times.
Oh, nice. Okay. So what would your advice be for poor Martin?
If you're playing Dark Souls 2, which I want to assume that's what you're playing, but that's not what you said.
Could be Bloodborne.
Could be. Yeah. So I mean, and advice for all of those is, I think, very different. Mm-hmm. If it's Bloodborne, just don't be afraid to go in and attack. Mm-hmm. For Dark Souls 2, learn how to backstab. That's very important.
Patience. The more frustrated you get with these games and the more you want to speed things up and like roll through them, the worse that you will do.
Dark Souls 2 isn't even that hard. Like, yes, it's hard. But it's not as hard as people make it out to be. Like, people claim like it's unbeatable. Like, Dark Souls 2 is not unbeatable. If I could do it, anybody could do it.
Yeah.
You just got to stick with it. You'll get better. The more you fail, the more you learn. Really.
Yeah. It's hard from a standpoint of like, it's more demanding than Call of Duty or, Minecraft. But once you get the hang of it, to me, the best part of the game is the first few hours when you're really incompetent, and then you have those moments where you're like, oh my God, I beat a boss.
Yeah. Like, see, because once you get like a really good weapon, right, and you've decided, okay, this is how I'm going to spec out my character, right? This is the path I'm taking. You kind of become, not OP is the wrong word, but you become very formidable in your own right. You upgrade your Estus Flask a whole bunch. You have a lot of healing. Like,
you become comfortable too, where even if they keep upping the difficulty curve, you're like, oh, I got this. Whereas like that first moment you fight Father Gascoigne or whatever his name is in Bloodborne, you're like, this game is impossible.
His name's Father Gascoigne.
Yeah.
And see, the first time I fought him, it took me like 2 hours to beat him. Now I could beat him on the first try.
Right.
Yeah, just because you learn.
But I will say, like, there are lots of games I listen to podcasts, and I'm like, man, that sounds so good. Oh my God, that sounds so cool. They're talking about how rewarding it is, and then I go play it and I hate it, and I'm like, why am I not getting this? But at the end of the day, there's so many games and so little time. Just play some. If you're not liking it and it's not for you, that's totally cool. Like, there's so many like JRPGs and strategy games and handheld games that I hear about on podcasts. I'm like, that sounds so rewarding. It sounds so cool. They're talking about fun. Monster Hunter is a great example. I hate Monster Hunter, and I will never play it again because I tried, and I know people say it's great. I know it's got good reviews. I know there's something, cool there. But if it's not for you, then that's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up. And literally, it sounds like if you're not liking it after a couple hours.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's like a No Man's Sky question. Thanks for writing in, Noah. We basically
I got chat. You do emails. I don't see it. If I haven't read anything,
Gabriel.
How many more you got?
I have one more email.
All right, we're starting to run long, so do one more email. We'll do one more question from chat. Go.
This is a great one.
Okay.
This is from Jara. He says he's an Australian person.
Okay. The best type of person.
Ubercast. The podcast of cars. That's what you are now.
Oh, dude, we should get an Uber and just podcast while we're just in the back seat. Like that one young lady that drove us from the Whole Foods in the middle of the rain. I forgot her name. Shout out to her.
The 5-star lady that said she didn't think she deserved 5 stars.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's his question. My friends refuse to play story games because they're just used to the multiplayer experience. How do I get them to play story games? I want them to play Skyrim or Borderlands or something like that. Thank you, and please also become the Ubercast. It would work, I promise.
Here's my question to you. Why does it matter to you what your friends want to play? Let them play what they want to play, man.
No, but I get what he's saying. Like, I feel that on Twitter every day. I'm like, you guys should really go play this. And people are like, GTA, Division, Call of Duty.
Yeah. See, so in my, again, different ways of thinking. In my mind, hey, be happy with your misery. If that's what you enjoy, that's cool. I'm going to be over here. You eat your poop, I'm going to be over here eating my steak. And I'm telling you how good this steak tastes. And you're like, nah, a lot of British like this poop, man. I'm like, cool. You enjoy that. I'm going to enjoy the steak. That's the way I look at things. So
maybe I guess if you ask him nicely and explain, like, I really love this and I'd really like for you to check it out, and they don't want to, maybe it's just go find a different friend to talk to games about. Hang out with him for something else. But like, I'm just saying, like, not every friend has to be everything. Like,
yeah,
Gabe,
I'm your everything.
You are my everything, but that's because we just have beautiful compatibility. But maybe Gabe, maybe you liked all the games I don't like, so instead we would just talk about sports and we wouldn't really talk about games. I don't know. I think you could also,
but then you like Matthew Stafford and I'm like, hey, Brock Osweiler's the future.
I think you could buy him the game and give it to him. That would probably be a good way to get him to play it.
Yeah.
Most people will take something free and do that, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to become a car cast. Neither me or Gabe really seem to have a passion or a knowledge of cars.
No, man, I can change a tire. That's about as far as I can go with a car.
I have changed a tire as well.
I can change the oil, but I'd rather not because it's messy.
Can you change your blood? Can you give me a transfusion?
Probably.
Okay.
I can do it.
All right.
Just give me 5 minutes to read a book on how to do it, and I'll be good. 5-minute book.
Can you give us a chat question?
Okay. All right. So Wisp Samurai is asking 4 times. What are you guys going to be playing more or more hype for? They're both coming up. And I hate that these games get compared, and you already know what Battleborn or Overwatch.
Oh, man.
Probably Battleborn. I'm starting to get excited for it. Although they're revealing way too much. Stop showing stuff. Just let the game come out. Let it speak for itself.
I do take issue with that.
All you had to say was, hey, you want a campaign? It's in here. You want mobile stuff? It's in here. You want all these heroes? They're in here. We have 24. Here's 15. The rest are a surprise. Go play. That's it.
Yeah, I think revealing your game, all of it, is not a good idea. I mean, if I was in charge of any game, I would, like Gabe said, hold back quite a bit. I do think that they're, at least based on what we know currently, and that's all we can speak on, I think they are shining examples of sort of the opposite of what multiplayer games are right now. On one hand, you have Overwatch, which is a multiplayer-only game for $60 on console that is made by Blizzard, so it has a lot of great hype and faith, and has skins, and has a couple modes in theory, and has some cool heroes. And on the other hand, you have Battleborn, which is made by Gearbox and 2K, which somehow have a lot of negative hype. And I
don't think they do. I think they do. Evolve does, but Take-Two, so still they do GTA and they own 2K.
Battleborn has very low hype
because it looks a lot like Borderlands.
But Borderlands 2 sold a boatload of copies.
Yeah, but then the Handsome Jack stuff, the collection came out, right? That wasn't so cool. The pre-sequel and people really weren't hot on. People grew tired of Borderlands, right? That's what happened.
Yeah.
So then they said, okay, no more Borderlands. Here's Overwatch, but it kind of looks like Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, my bad.
But my thing is, like, Battleborn is the quintessential consumer gamer-friendly game. They are packing in a campaign, a whole bunch of progression and leveling up on both the in-game, like, sphere and the out-of-game metasphere, and then even a more metasphere account sphere. They are giving you all the content for free, DLC for free. They have tons of different characters. They have single-player levels with bosses. They have multiplayer that spans across a couple modes that are very, very different. And it's sort of like very weird in an era when like people are like, oh, Battlefront doesn't have enough content. This doesn't have content. This doesn't have enough content. Blah, blah, blah. And yet they are doing basically everything right by the consumer by packing this thing chock full of content. And apparently the mode I haven't played, Incursion, which is their big MOBA-centric mode, is the best mode. And so I'm really excited to see what that's like.
Yeah, I think for me the main problem is it looks a lot like Borderlands.
But why does that matter? That's like saying NBA 2K17 looks a lot like GTA 5.
Well, because they don't. But and also those are completely different games. Like this, if you're playing like Oscar Mike, if you're playing Oscar Mike in Battleborn, you might as well be playing a Borderlands.
But why don't people say Overwatch is a lot like Team Fortress?
Well, because it looks wholly different. Right, and it plays wholly different, and there's not abilities the way there is. Like that's totally different.
Okay.
Right. In Borderlands, there's still a bit like there's a lot of similarities, right?
And you're saying graphically, like so, Quantum.
I'm not saying graphically. I'm saying visually.
And
Quantum Break and Infamous don't look the same,
but they look similar.
Yeah, but not like this. Like I think
so. They're both cel shaded.
Well, no, that's part of it, right? I could show you a screenshot for Borderlands 2, like on PC, and a screenshot of Battleborn.
Okay. That's fair.
The average person wouldn't be able to tell, like, pick the difference, like, because it looks damn near identical, right? And even the UI, the colors of the UI, like, it's all the same.
They are reusing quite a bit of, if not assets, design philosophy for the UI, not for the game, but for the UI and stuff.
Yeah. Scott on chat says,
I'm not even acknowledging it.
Hashtag you were warned. I love it. I don't hate Battleborn. I don't. It's just I'm worried that it looks a lot like Borderlands and the names. Damn it. Battleborn, too many B's. Overwatch has an O, so that's
the Division is an insanely boring name. Destiny is an insanely boring name.
Yeah, but at least they don't. It's not like they have Destiny and over here they have Despami, and it's the same thing.
But Borderlands and Battleborn do not sound alike at all.
Yes, they don't sound alike, right? But I don't know. There's way too. In my mind, you see what's happening. I'm the average dude. Like I'm not sitting here. I'm not a huge Borderlands fan. I'm also not a huge Battleborn fan, and I confuse them.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the writing on the wall is that Overwatch is going to sell boatloads of copies, and Battleborn will sell none. I just think it's very odd in an era when people complain about content, and yet we're getting a game that's actually trying to be really, really good about that.
Yeah.
And Paragon, like. That is in its
let me say
own category, and I don't like that game at all.
I've seen at least 3 people say, "Wait, Overwatch isn't free to play." No, it's not. It's $60 on consoles and $40 on PC, $50.
Which is super weird that it's $40 on PC and $60 on console, but okay.
Yeah, no, it's not a free game. If it was a free game, then like sure, Overwatch is a fantastic deal, but it's not.
Yeah, it's
like for sure. Battleborn has more content, and I'm not here to argue that.
No,
it's just I want to play. I've played it 3 times, and I've had fun every single time. So I mean, we'll see.
We shall see. The Battleborn comes out May 5th, I believe, or May first week of May, and Overwatch is the 3rd. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Play both.
Yeah, you could do that, or you could play none. You could play Plants vs Zombies Heroes.
Yep.
Right. This week's show is now wrapping up. It was sponsored by. My very sweaty chair. I used to have a mesh chair, and then I upgraded to a DX Racer. The problem is there's nowhere for my sweat to go. It just sits on my body.
Ew. See, I like my chair because it's mostly leather, but on the area down here where my legs go, there's mesh there.
Yeah, mesh chairs are nice.
Yeah.
All right, what's on the horizon for next week?
What is coming next week?
Next week, we will talk about Pokken Tournament.
We will. I've been playing that.
We will talk about I'll talk about Hitman briefly.
Yeah.
I've got some Steam games that I've downloaded and really want to check out. One is called Labyrinth.
I might try Need for Speed on PC.
Okay.
Maybe. Paragon, something's happening on early access on March 18th, so that's coming soon too.
Maybe you'll tell us about the definitive edition of Ori.
I will tell you about the definitive edition of Ori.
Is there anything major releasing next week? I don't.
No.
I think we sort of hit our March.
Yeah, Division and Hitman were the big ones this month, and
Well, if there's not a whole lot of games next week, then maybe we'll do our NX blowout cast.
Yeah, and a lot of people asked during this, like, hey, why don't you guys play like a game live and talk? Like, we could maybe do that.
Okay.
So they want us to play,
like
maybe play.
Can it be something that's very? We need to play No Man's Sky, I think.
Or we can sit here and play like the Division together, or Pokken, or Street Fighter. Just sit here and talk and play at the same time.
Okay, we can try that.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you liked it live. We'd be happy to bring episode 5 next Thursday back live, and then it will go on
Here,
YouTube.
let's do this live. Give me the code so I can give it to Causal.
Okay. And then we will upload this audio somehow to iTunes.
Oh, we didn't record our audio.
But we'll just download it after it processes.
We didn't record our audio.
Okay, we'll just download the audio after it processes.
It's not going to sound good.
It'll sound fine for this week.
All right.
What am I giving you?
The code for Ori Definitive for Causal. He won it.
I think 2 people want it, right?
Just give me
I'm gonna give you 2
one
codes.
And the other one guessed it, and then I have 2 links. One for Brandon because he guessed Ivory Coast, and we didn't decide what we're gonna give him.
So we should
give
it to him.
Well, yeah, I also got to give it to Causal. So give me the one for Causal because he's on Twitter asking for it. Like not asking for it, but I said I would give it to him, so I'm going to.
Okay, well, so there's
Causal, give me your Twitter one more time, please.
All right. Anyhow, next week we'll probably talk mostly NX as well as some of these other games that are releasing. So if you've got any emails that you want to send regarding NX or any questions in general about gaming or your life or some weird story that happened to you or that one time you pooped inside of a truck, hellosupercast@gmail.com is where you can send those. We'll probably do this again next week. Live again, I'm thinking. And if you enjoyed that, let us know. If you're like, no, please don't do that, let us know as well. Thank you for all the reviews. You can keep those coming. You can find this on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube.
Causal, tweet at me at Volatile Game for the code because I've lost your Twitter handle.
Okay.
So
I think that wraps it up for episode 4. Again, doing it live is a little bit different and a little bit more confusing.
I think next time we should be playing something.
We can do that. But it is a good first run at this live stuff, and thank you guys so much for watching, and girls and cats and creatures. Until next week when we talk all about NX and probably do this live again, what kind of week should they have?
A super week.
Thanks, Gabe. Have a super week, and we will see you all later. And
End it when you're ready.